Chapter 638. Rewinding through ages, the interior of the ancient cemetery, once again revealed, was shrouded in darkness and lay desolate. The structure that Kishir had erected was but a mere skeleton, a superficial framework, a fact that seemed all too obvious. If it's built according to ancient architectural styles, the real entrance leading to the chamber of corpses should be in the innermost part of the building. So it must be around here. Kishir strode toward confidently, halting at a particular spot. The ground under his gaze was in disarray, with stones uprooted and scattered about. It appeared impossible for mere human effort to find a way down, yet none present felt a hint of despair. Why worry when Yudhir, who could manipulate the earth as his limbs, was there? I will take it from here. Yudhir directed his power toward the spot Kishir had indicated. To others, it might have seemed like he merely flicked an eyebrow, but in that fleeting moment, Yudhir had the entire surrounding terrain in his grasp. Concentrating his immense strength, he cast his eye downward, and the conditions beneath the earth's surface became as clear to him as if he were observing them firsthand. The reason this land seemed rocky is due to a tunnel constructed with stone walls beneath, but now it's blocked by the soil that has accumulated over time, making it inaccessible. The solution then was simple: avoid the stone framework and shift the filling soil to reveal a passageway leading down to the cave. Moving the earth was not a difficult task. Having reached his decision, Yudhir instructed Kishir and Nathan Zuckerman to step back. As he drew a deep breath and exerted his power again, a rumbling vibration began to emanate from below. This might be felt by the villagers nearby, but they won't think it's an earthquake. If there is any trouble, I will be ready to assist, Nathan Zuckerman said, his hand resting on the hilt of his sword. Kishir stood close by, arms crossed, his trust implicit in his gaze. That look simultaneously stirred Yudhir's senses as an awakener and his human emotions. It's a familiar task, yet the presence of an observer made everything feel different. He wanted to exert his power flawlessly, without the slightest error. Perhaps Kishir had entertained a similar thought just moments ago. Don't worry, this will be over shortly. And Yudhir did just that. Moments later, the ground heaved and churned like a swamp, spewing a massive mound of earth opening up like a gaping maw before them. Concurrently, the air currents, more violent than before, became distinctly visible to Yudhir's heightened perception. It's done. At last, the entrance to an ancient burial site, long concealed, was revealed before them. It was a sight different yet equally magnificent compared to when Kishir had erected the building. Kishir approved Yudhir to examine the newly unveiled entrance. Perfect, well found. From what I see, the energy flow is stronger than before, indicating we have found the right place. Shall we descend then? They stepped towards the real entrance to the underground burial chambers. As they walked between the cleared earth and stone walls, a cold, damp chill crept up their necks. The deeper they went, the darker it became, prompting Yudhir to summon fire to illuminate the surroundings. This place is remarkably well preserved for its age. It looks more like an emergency underground passage than a path to a tomb. The path was narrow, but with a ceiling considerably high. Nathan Zuckerman could walk without almost stooping. For Kishir, however, the ceiling was still too low, forcing him to walk with his head bowed. Nathan Zuckerman seemed slightly concerned about his lord walking hunched over, but Yudhir's worry was of a different nature. The breath of the man falling right behind him felt too close than before. ... It was absurd that his full attention and senses were drawn to something entirely unrelated while he was working. Thankfully, it appeared he wasn't the only one feeling this way, as he could sense eyes fixed on the back of his neck without even looking back. In the past, such a sensation wouldn't have been elicited in a formal situation. But now, the clear gaze he felt even when he realized it didn't waver, indicating its awareness. This subtle yet honest change, though not significant, was profoundly pleasing to Yudhir. As Yudhir pondered whether to glance back or not, a low voice reached his ears. Before leaving Tenu, Baron Kyold mentioned something about the research of the first Duke of Tane. He wasn't a mage, but a scholar deeply versed in lore and history. He meticulously scrutinized the historical context of that time to understand the first Duke's peculiar research aims and subsequent actions. Baron Kyold was just as earnest as Kishir had felt when he first saw him. Despite being overwhelmed with reviving Tenu from the ruinous exploitation of Wilhelm family, he hadn't forgotten to examine the first Duke of Tane's research. He scoured all available documents to understand the early situations of the West and the Empire, even utilizing his distant blood relation to the Tane family to access private archives passed down in old Western noble houses. In a few rare records left by the Duke's retainers, Kyold sensed something. The first Duke of Tane kept his research secret even from his closest retainers. They thought the Duke was more interested in something other than magic or monsters. Do you know what that was? No. History. The voice softly uttered the word. The first Duke of Tane had a profound interest in the history before the Great Destruction. Much of it has been lost over time, but this deep interest apparently caused considerable concern over his contemporaries. Back then, people were too preoccupied with surviving the future to look back at a crumbling past. Those who delved into the past were often seen as dangerous eccentrics. Yet, the first Duke of Tane remained deeply interested in the pre-destruction past. This wasn't always the case. Baron Kyold cautiously suggested that the Duke's deep interest in lost history began around the time of the first Emperor's demise. According to the Duke's General, his intense research on monsters also started after the Emperor's death. It seemed logical to assume a connection between the two. The destruction, monsters, and the shattered, unknowable histories. Kyold's conclusion from piecing all these together was as follows. It's possible that the first emperor's passing had something to do with all those matters. That's what was said. Silence followed, hanging in the air like a mist. Of course, he hadn't interpreted the first Duke of Tane's journal as thoroughly as we have. His conclusion wasn't based on complete information. Still, considering this, I think it's a fairly responsible conjecture. Remember the journal's final entry? Yudhir cast his mind back swiftly to the last sentence of the translated version Kishir had given him. After my father's death, the only one who held the same questions was my spiritual father. What did he gain? Where is he now after leaving Gylander Hill with the scripture? That's the part I'm referring to. Yes, I remember, Yudhir replied. If we take that sentence at face value, after the death of the first emperor, who was the first Duke of Tane's father, both the Archmage Luma and the first Duke, Blake Van Tane, began to do things they had never done before. After the Emperor's death, Luma left the Empire years later, and the first Duke started fervently researching lost history and monsters. Even Luma showed interest in his studies at one point. One death and the altered course of others' lives thereafter. The first Emperor's death certainly left them with profound questions, sparking something new. Whether the cause was as Baron Kyold suggested, the cause of death or something else remains unclear. But it's a possibility worth considering. A long silence ensued. As Yudhir descended the stairs, he pondered the tale Kishir had shared. The cause of the first Emperor's death. The known cause of the first emperor's demise was simple. He had departed this world early after establishing or following the prevention of the Great Destruction, a legend of sorts. His death was overshadowed by his magnificent achievements. More renowned were the tales of the empress who led Or alone after him and the crown prince who had ascended to the throne as the second emperor under her guidance. Thinking of the first emperor, Yudhir's mind naturally drifted to the story Enon had told him. He was the one who had set the real final page of the first Duke of Tane's research journal, which Kishir hadn't seen. Udir had yet to properly share this with Kishir due to an incomplete translation and subsequent busyness. Actually, I have something I would like to share with you. Do you remember when I said there was something I would like to tell you once I was certain after reading your translation? Of course. Uday thought of Nathan Zuckerman behind him. He hesitated, wondering if he should speak in his presence, but Kishir swiftly whispered a solution. If necessary, I can create a barrier with magic so that no one but me can hear. That should be fine. Either way is okay with me. Nathan Zuckerman agreed. After a moment of consideration, Uday nodded. It might not be directly related to him, but since it was connected to his own experiences, he wanted to proceed with caution. Understood. I can create such a barrier myself, so let me use my power for a moment. The power of the wind rose sharply, subtly altering the flow of air in its wake. Though it was uncertain if this would be entirely effective against a sword master, as long as the other party was not keen on listening, it would suffice. He then steadied his breath and began to speak. Enoch had unearthed hidden information within the journal. While I don't yet know the exact original text, I have heard some key details. According to him, the founding emperor might have been in a situation similar to mine. That's what I thought too. He bought the whole power of magic because before him there were no mages, and suddenly he kind of made the entire world revere magicians and mages. I don't know if they're the same things. I don't think so, but whatever. You get it. So he was this person who put on a new era, a new dynasty, you would say. I did not realize he died so early and the Empress ruled on his behalf. That sounds shady. And now I'm concerned about Yidar, who is also regressed. I hope they can figure out why he died. At that time, his sons would be too young and I don't think they would want to kill their father. So I just don't think it would be their sons, and assuming the first sons, at least initial generations, were not as trashy as the gens right now. The two families. But why did he die? How did he die? But also, he was definitely a sword master, right? Because his mark on that stone remained for 1,000 years. That must have been an incredible power to hold. Well, we will know.